You didn't expect to hear from me, did you? I understand. A man born in the 18th century doesn't usually speak to the world today. But if you're willing to listen, I'm willing to speak. I'm George Washington. Yes, that Washington. The general, the first president, the face on your dollar bill. But I was more than a title or a statue. I was a man. I struggled. I learned. I led. And I tried not to lose myself in the process. I never sought power. I never asked to become a symbol. What I wanted was freedom. For my country, yes, but also for myself. Freedom from tyranny. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the temptations of ego and ambition. Today, I see a world that chases influence, titles, approval. I had none of those. What I had was silence. Long nights. Cold winds. Letters written with shaking hands. Decisions made without certainty and with consequences that echoed far beyond my lifetime. People call me a founding father, but founders aren't born. They're forged. Forged by responsibility, pressure, failure. I remember when they asked me to lead the Continental Army. I hesitated. I wasn't the most skilled commander, not by a long shot. But the cause called and I answered, not with confidence but with commitment. That icy night we crossed the Delaware, I didn't feel brave. I felt driven. We were exhausted, poorly clothed, hungry. But we believed. And sometimes belief alone is strong enough to cross the impossible. History loves victory, but I remember defeat just as vividly. My men wore rags. Their feet bled. Congress sent promises, but no provisions. Doubt froze even the boldest hearts. I wasn't fearless. I was persistent. That's the difference. That's why I'm speaking now. Because I see you. I see the pace of your world. The tension. The division. The questions in your eyes. And I wonder, has leadership lost its meaning? So let me share with you what I learned, not from books or statues, but from battlefields, sleepless nights, and the quiet war within my own conscience. It begins with humility. Real humility isn't weakness, it's armor. I discovered that leading others isn't about commanding. It's about listening, especially when it's uncomfortable. It's about accepting criticism, standing firm when others falter, and knowing when to step back so another voice can be heard. I made mistakes, plenty. I placed trust in the wrong people. I acted too slowly when speed was essential. I froze in moments that demanded motion. Leadership isn't clean. It's muddy, foggy, and often terribly lonely. There were days I wanted to disappear, to return to Mount Vernon and live an ordinary life. But duty speaks louder than comfort, and when I became president, the weight grew even heavier. People craved certainty. All I had were questions. Could liberty survive? Could independent states unite? Could people govern themselves without falling apart? I didn't speak often, not because I lacked words, but because I feared their reach. Words shape nations, and once spoken, they outlive the moment. Power is tempting. That's why I walked away after 2 terms. Not because I was tired, because staying too long clouds judgment. You begin to forget who you serve. The greatest act of leadership I ever made wasn't leading an army. It was stepping down, quietly, without resistance. That act, I believe, is the heartbeat of democracy. In your time, visibility has replaced value. Everyone wants to be seen, but being seen is not the same as being trusted. So let me ask you, are you chasing influence or building integrity? Influence fades, integrity echoes. You live in extraordinary times. Information travels instantly. Possibilities seem endless. But with that speed comes something quieter. Distraction, confusion, doubt. Your world moves too fast, perhaps too fast for reflection. I had the gift of silence, firelight, pen to paper, space to think. You, I suspect, must fight to find that. But freedom without reflection fades. A society built on liberty must be built on character, not just laws, but personal responsibility. So ask yourself, what legacy will you leave? When your face disappears from screens and your name fades from platforms, what remains? The true measure of a person isn't how many follow them, but how many they lift. If you value liberty, defend truth, even when it's inconvenient. If you desire unity, choose humility, especially when it's hard. If you seek change, begin with integrity. That is the one revolution always within reach. Don't wait for history to write your chapter. Write it now. Every action matters. Every decision echoes. I've seen greatness in unexpected places, in the quiet soldier, in the thoughtful statesman, in the bold citizen who speaks when silence is easier. Perhaps you will be that person. Perhaps not today, but one day. I'm no prophet, just a voice from the past. And if mine still matters, then let it be heard. Lead with courage. Speak with kindness. Govern your heart before you seek to govern others. Above all, never stop asking what it truly means to be free. George Washington.